get. And yes, I'm still catching up on weekend mini readings, and I will come up with an offer this week as well. Okay, so stay tuned for an offer. You guys know I do my little pick of cards, and I have an offer. I'll probably do a new moon reading because I feel like the new moon is on the way. But I'll see what I have. Let's see who hops on tonight. Okay, the masculines, you guys, there's a lot of toxicity going on in the masculine collective. Okay, a lot of hostilities, anger, resentment, bitterness, that sort of thing. Okay, and this is an actual astrology shift right now that is happening. So the masculines right now, hi there, how are you? They're really imbalanced, okay? I really feel that. And I feel like they're being like pushed to balance. They're being pushed to balance out is what I'm seeing. I'm getting a visualization of that. I do feel like there's a lot of spiritual, guidance and they're coming around them, but they're trying to reject this. With Angel of Balance, I do feel like they're balancing karma though. That's what I really feel. I get a visualization of like, scales. I feel like that there's balance, forced karmic balancing going on, and this is causing disruption with the masculine. Yeah, the masculines are being like raging, nasty, mean right now. Yes, that is a collective thing. I've been hearing stories about a bunch of them going to jail, cop calls, raging. There's been a lot of domestic violence this weekend. It's literally an astrology shift going on. So I can't remember the astrology shift, but there's something with an astrology shift. I have it on my phone. Somebody sent me a little thing or whatever, but I'm using my phone right now. And it had to do with like paranoia, fear, rage, and anger coming up in the collective. So just be aware of that. And it'll last for about 4 days, so it should be done around Tuesday. And the masculines are acting very irrational is what I'm seeing. Okay. And I feel like some of them are resisting some heart awakening right now. Like they're taking fear. And the thing is these astrology shifts will affect the people that take fear over love the most. So if you take fear over love, which a lot of the masculines are, they have blocked heart spaces, and there's a lot of narcissism showing right now. Like there actually is another astrology shift going on where it's dismantling the narcissist-empath programming that's been installed in humanity for how long and gotten worse and worse and worse. Everybody has the toxic narcissistic S, okay? Like everybody has this. So with this reset that we're going through, because this is a mass reset, like we're all in a huge reset. You guys probably feel a death and rebirth happening. Like I don't know what happened this year exactly, but something really, really put a reset on everybody. Identity reset, things like that. So the narcissist-empath programming is being dismantled right now and has started to dismantle in October. So the masculines are going through that as well. And it starts with their mother wounds. A lot of the times it starts with parent wounds. It starts with abandonment from parents. And that's where the narcissist-empath dynamic starts. Okay, so a lot of you got into a bind with the narcissist-empath dynamic with the masculine in this reading today, or anybody, okay? Yeah, the Jezebel spirit's been out, you guys. I've been actually like pulling the Jezebel spirit off people during clearings. If you want a clearing with me, you guys, now is the time to really get that, especially with these really bizarre energies going on. So if you want to visit my website, feel free to get a clearing. I also have a new offering. Okay, I'll kind of show you on my phone here. And it is get him off me. So if you guys, or get them off me, if you guys have like a bind with somebody very toxic, like it could be an ex, or it could be even a friend, family, coworker, something like that, and their energy is just like constantly around you and it's driving you crazy, okay? I can get that off for you. So I have a booking on my website now. So if this masculine here is still hanging on your energy, corded on your energy, you need it off, like just get a hold of me and book this reading. Let's see. Remove their energy off me. So you go on my website, okay, and it says remove their energy off me, exclamation point, okay? And I have it here, remove an X, you know, and these are binding spells, okay? So I have it on here. These are binding spells where literally, like, if you have a narcissist empath dynamic with anybody in your life, doesn't even matter who it is, like it can get like this. And when you get in these kind of binding, it can cause a binding spell, codependency to binding spell. When you get in these, you start to draw in more and more and more of it. And I removed like a friend off a couple people before, and that friend never talks to them again. So true colors really show. Okay. Yeah, the toxicity in men is really showing. A lot of people went through random breakups lately. Like, it's been everybody. The masculines are going and finding a woman that is a representation of their shadow feminine that's inside of them. So they're finding a karmic female to go play with for a while. This is a lesson though, because what'll happen is it's, you know, your protection. If they're taken away from you, it's your protection, because that anger, resentment, bitterness, or, you know, that toxic side was in there already. Okay. So if they're taken away from you, this is your ancestors protecting you. If they're playing around with a third party that's just a karmic shadow female, it's because they need the lesson behind it. And a lot of times, you guys, what happens, you guys, is over time when they get with the karmic shadow female, and, you know, there's a lot of lust and that sort of thing, a lot of Jezebel spirit with it. So there's a lot of like sex and all that kind of shit. But what happens over time is that karmic connection that they're playing with will start treating them the way they treated you. Okay. So that's part of the lesson as well. And one way to break a cycle is to get the lesson in reverse form. Okay. So what the masculines are doing right now is they're getting this lesson in reversed form. Okay. And that's why a karmic female is coming in to mirror their shadow to them, their behavior patterns to them. Because a lot of you did not treat the masculine like they treated you. So as we dismantle this programming, and a lot of you that are empath, you're going to get people coming in that are empath and loving towards you. And that's the lesson for you, is to learn to accept love. Do I make sense? Because if an empath doesn't dismantle some of that as well, I notice with an empath, because I'm kind of one myself, you can get bitter over time from overgiving, but also you refuse to receive. So a lot of us that have been in the more of the empath dynamic, we struggle to receive. So a lot of you are suddenly receiving right now. Your soul community is coming in to protect you, to give to you. And the narcissist, what's going on with them, a lot of them are ending up alone right now, or with a shadow partner that's going to treat them exactly how they treat you. Okay. And that's the lesson there. And it's the only way they can break this. Because I know people say you can't, but I believe you can break the narcissism in somebody, but it takes a lot of work, and it takes them being treated like they treat you. Okay. They need that treatment to be able to see it. So you need to see the lesson in reverse form to be able to see it. And this goes for all types of lessons sometimes. Okay. So the masculines, despite the hostilities, which we got the hostilities here, and with the healer of ages in reverse, I feel like, you know, a lot of this hostilities is the refusal to reflect, the refusal to heal, and they're getting angry, the refusal to release the fear from the heart space, the refusal to align, and that sort of thing. But they're still holding on to your heart, you guys. Like, they're holding on to your heart, but it's like a lot of you are rejecting the masculines as well, because you're like, fuck him. You know, his true colors showed, his toxic side showed. You know, I don't want him anymore. He is not healing. Like, he's not the man I thought he was, and all these different things, which, you know, the facade that they were putting on for you is dismantling as well. So there's a lot of that. And this masculine, his ego is taking over his heart. Okay, there's a lot of pride with the masculines right now, and their ego is their protection. Okay, so they're like, oh, I like this woman instead. She's so much better than you, when they're like way downgrade. And a lot of this is their ego is taking over their healing process and taking over the awakening. So that low vibrational female is actually matching their ego. Does that make sense? So the ego they're putting out, this feminine energy is matching that. Okay? So they're still holding on to your heart, and they're working on the balance here. And as this mirror happens and the hostilities happen, a lot of the times when the lesson comes in reverse form. Okay, the masculines don't know it yet because they're being blindfolded to the lesson. But somebody's in their energy stopping their healing process and mirroring out how they treat other people. Somebody's in their energy doing that. For a lot of them, it is another party, okay? But they're going to act hostile towards you because they're triggered right now and resisting their healing. But in actuality, it's because they're allowing people in that are matching their energy. And these people are triggering them because they have the same demons. Does this make sense? I don't know how to explain it. So it's going to be a test of their strength. Do they have, the karma is balancing, and part of the whole ascension process is to clear your karma, okay? To clear your ancestral karmic patterns, to clear your demons, to get through the cycles, to bring forgiveness into your life, to bring understanding into your life. and then to clear these things and get over these things. The masculines are in a place of bitterness, hatred, rejection, abandonment, and they're not getting through this right now. So it's all coming up to be exposed. And feminine, a lot of you are being protected from this masculine right now. So if they're not talking to you and they are not with you and they are, with somebody else right now, let them take the hostilities out on other people. You don't really need that for you. And like I said, if they're around other people, it's because these people are mirroring the same energies. Okay, and they need that lesson. So do they have the strength to get through this ancestral karmic patterns or not? That's the question. Okay, and a lot of what's going on is orchestrated. It's divinely orchestrated. God brought this in for divine orchestration for the masculines to learn, because they thought they could hurdle over their lessons. Okay, I don't have to do this. I don't have to change. I could be a narcissistic asshole. I don't have to change. It's okay. I can be that way. I can be a selfish asshole. And God is going, no, because feminine didn't deserve that anymore. And a lot of you started to see through the empath. And I feel like a lot of you are a little bit cold right now, and you're probably like, I don't want to listen to your shit anymore. I'm not going to deal with your shit anymore. Okay. And I feel like you're coming off a bit cold, and this triggers a selfish individual more than anything. Okay. So this brought out the true colors, because a lot of you, you're not feeding this cycle anymore. Like, you're learning to not feed the cycle. But the problem with the empath is the empath likes to get into that bind. They feel sorry for the masculine, they get into that bind. Okay, so the masculines are essentially getting into another party or hanging out with buddies that are narcissistic assholes like themselves. What happens with that? It's going to be like this after a while, because that just is not a good fit. Okay, so it's going to create a dismantling. But this is part of their contract, you guys. This is part of their spiritual journey, because they forgot to pick up the pieces to some of their childhood traumas, to some of things like that. They're skipping levels of the game. Does that make sense? Okay, so it's up to them to find their strength, and when they find their strength, this is when they're going to see things for what it truly is. And they're big time projectors right now as well. Okay, there's a lot of projecting going on, and they're behaving the way they are because, well, they're jealous of some of you feminine, but they're trying to have control over themselves. Okay, so they're acting out in hostilities, they're acting out resentment, bitterness, all these different things, because they feel in control of themselves that way. Because then when God takes the reins, because when it's like when you let go and you align with faith, when God takes the reins, you kind of feel a sense of no control over yourself. Okay, and when you feel like you don't have that control over yourself, what happens? And causes a lot of hostility. And the masculines are doing really weird things right now because they want to feel in control of something in their life, because they feel like they lack control of everything. They're very jealous right now. There's a lot of, the masculines are playing with the Jezebel spirit right now. Lust, envy, greed, you name it. Okay, they're doing it. And it's not about living, it's not about sinning, because everyone sins. But once you learn the lesson of that sin and get out of that sin, then that's when God forgives you, because God forgives everything. The masculines are like living in it right now, and they're sitting in this place, like a lot of them are having like guilt, regret, and shame for what they're engaging in, but their pride and their ego is taking over, and they don't want to admit that. So instead, they're jealous of the feminine, because a lot of you have cleared your karmic cycles and you're moving forward. Okay, and they don't want to admit, like, oh, I may have taken the wrong path. And what happens with the narcissist when they don't want to change, you guys? They end up alone. They end up with nobody. Okay, that's typically what happens. Okay, so the seeds are planted for them. It's a matter of them getting through the lessons and fertilizing their seeds and that sort of thing. And I feel like that a lot of you, like you're thinking through, you're getting a lot of downloads, your abundance is coming to you, your seeds are planted, the growth is happening to you, that sort of thing. So it is happening. Yeah, a lot of you, like the feminine is headed to cornucopia. Like you guys are headed to happiness. You guys are headed in a very good direction. So that's amazing. But the masculines here, a lot of them have a lot of work to do, and they try to skip levels in the game, like I said. So there's some issues around that. Get some messages, you guys, and hop off here and just some private readings. You haunt my dreams. I wake up tired and anxious. Oh, great, Sam, great. I feel lost without you. I'm trying to heal, but it's so difficult. See, the thing is that because a lot of you are those loving, nurturing empaths, you cleared their energy for them, but they took advantage of that. They weren't actually clearing it on their end, okay? They were using you as a dump, okay? They don't have you as a dump anymore. So what happens when they're in these toxic places with other selfish individuals? Oh, these narcissists don't have their dumps anymore. Okay, so that's going to starve out the beast. And what's going to happen over time is like this, okay? So the narcissist empath programming dismantling right now, the narcissists have no more dumps. Okay, so it's going to force a change. It's going to force a change eventually, whether it's a destructive change or actually releasing it and humbling down and becoming detached from the programming. But a lot of you have to quit feeding that, oh, I feel sorry for masculine, and start defending him. And, you know, oh, he's just a wounded boy and he was abandoned as a child. No, as an adult, that's done. Okay, we all have to at some point take accountability. The past is the past, leave it there. But we can't just keep bringing it in the future. It brings self-destruction, yeah? Losing you was a big wake-up call for me. I'm unsure how to handle it. I feel so alone. I'm upset. I don't know how to get past it. So there you go, you guys. There you go. And I'm going to leave that right there. Thank you for joining tonight. If you'd like to book a reading or clearing with me, please hop on my website. You guys have a good night. Bye-bye.